Hello and welcome to this introduction episode of Macross 1.5. In association with our friends at FandomPower, we will be posting RPG sessions to our respective YouTube channels. We are at Reflex. And Wes, where can your channel be reached?
Hey guys, my name is Wes Arscott and I am the host of the FandomPower podcast. You can find us on YouTube at, you can just search FandomPower, or you can find us on our YouTube channel, Sawcast Productions, which is our network name.
We will be playing the Macross saga from Strange Machine Games. We will be following the series timeline, but telling the story of another group of heroes. The show's heroes will show up from time to time, but this is our story. So they're going to be very, very minor characters. You know, Roy may show up to direct something here and there, Rick, but very, very little impact in our story. So my name is Paul Marquez. I am one half of Reflex, a Robotech podcast. I've been RPGing for 20 plus years. I've played games like D&D, obviously, where I cut my teeth, TMNT, Riffs, and I've played the old Palladium Robotech RPGs. In my experience, I've found that a good GM does not make himself the enemy of the player characters. More or less, he makes himself, directs the action, but lets the dice determine exactly what's going to happen. Sometimes it gets kind of weird when you're the GM, because if you think the adventure or the session is going too easy for the player characters, you tend to turn in to the opponent of the characters. But that's almost like if God was to say, okay, you're my enemies right now, you know? And that's not what happens. Let the dice determine. If the players are just rolling good, let that play out. It's a great session. And if it's turning out bad for them, you can minimize the damage of it a little bit, because heroes don't die every day, right? That wouldn't make a great show. So it's an art. It's definitely an art. But in 20 plus years, I think I've gotten a little bit of a handle of it. And so I hope to bring you something entertaining. And man, just I hope that you can enjoy this as much as we do making it. So, to introduce ourselves, Wes, tell us a little bit about the character you'll be playing and how you'll be playing him.
Well, as your viewers may or may not know this, but as a lifelong Robotech fan, I also have been playing role-playing games for, I'm doing the math in my head here, almost in and out of role-playing games for almost 30 years. And Robotech is particularly special for me because Robotech is the first RPG that I spent money on. And much like you, Paul, I also kind of cut my teeth on some of the other games that are out there, Dungeons and Dragons, obviously. And a lot of the Palladium books published stuff. So like you say, Rifts, Heroes Unlimited, Ninjas and Super Spies, and of course, Robotech. I live in Canada, or as we like to say in Robotech, I live specifically in the Ontario quadrant. And just like me, my character is also from the Ontario quadrant. So I will be playing the role of Corporal Elwood Pratt, who was born in the early 1970s in a small town just northwest of Toronto. Elwood was a typical small town kid who just wanted to get out, and his biggest escape was music and girls. And yes, in that order. I got really creative with my character's background because I wanted to sort of mesh some like real world kind of history in with the science fiction of Robotech. So some of the stuff may sound kind of like foreign to listeners or viewers who are not familiar with some of the Canadian lingo that I'm going to use. But Elwood was an attendee of the Royal Military College of Canada from 1991 to 1996, where he earned a Master's of Applied Science in Aeronautical Engineering, because in Canada, all pilots must be officers and they must be university educated. So graduated primary flight training at the Canadian Forces Flying Training Center at Portage La Prairie in Manitoba in December of 1996. Then went on to graduate from fast jet training at 15 Wing Moose Jaw in Saskatchewan in 1997. After that, he went on to serve with number 401 Tactical Fighter Squadron out of Cold Lake, Alberta, where Elwood operated the CF-18 Hornet. Then the following year, in July 1998, he was selected for a NATO military personnel exchange program for a 2-year exchange with the Royal Australian Air Force, where he operated the F-35 Lightning II. Then on that fateful day, July 17th, 1999, while on a combat air patrol off the northern coast of Australia, Elwood observed the fireball that was the crashing alien spacecraft, later designated SDF-1. The incident and all flight recorded data, of course, was deemed top secret, and a gag order was put on place, so he was never able to talk about it. Then in July of 2000, after his exchange was over, he redeployed back to Canada. Now with 5 years of military service complete, he got out of the military and immediately moved back to Australia as a permanent resident. Then from 2000 to 2002, worked as a cargo pilot ferrying supplies to and from Macross Island. And then in 2002, he got recruited to Project Valkyrie as a mercenary pilot, primarily operating the F-203 Dragon II. Between 2002 and 2006, Elwood flew several sorties against the Anti-Unification League. And then finally, in 2006, with some encouragement from the leadership of Project Valkyrie, Elwood officially joined the RDF, this time as an enlisted pilot. So, yeah. And I think, he's Elwood's a kind of he's kind of like me, he's a, kind of soft-spoken and, is thoughtful and takes his job pretty seriously. But, when he's not working, he can cut loose and have fun.
So what's his physical? Is he a strong guy? Is he a bigger guy? Is he?
Well, I picture this guy as, there's only a limited amount of space in an aircraft. So, he's certainly got to fit the pilot
canopy.
Sort of, yeah. So, I'm a tall guy. I'm just over 6 feet tall, but I can jam into some pretty small places. So, kind of a 6-footer, medium build, not super chiseled, but not like a pudgy guy like I am for real.
I'll join you on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay,
looking forward to shaking things up.
So now he's on Macross Island. Has he lost the mercenary mindset?
Well, I had this idea for him where, witnessing the fireball, because if you were anywhere, in that part of the world, there's no way you didn't see it,
right?
And I kind of thought, what would a guy like that do in the 90s, thinking the internet is just kind of new. And when you think about when Robotech was made, there was no internet, so
right.
He was so, somebody like that, it's like the whole Foo Fighter phenomenon in World War II, these guys that went up and flew all these missions, saw all this stuff, made all these reports, and then were never able to talk about it again. What did they do after the war? And I kind of feel like this guy is the type of guy who would chase the rabbit down the hole, and he would that's why I get out of the military. I'm going to get out of the military officially. I'm going to work as a mercenary, because as a mercenary, I can chase all those leads. What the hell's going on? What was this thing for real? And then when he finally gets the job running back and forth to Macross Island, then he gets that firsthand, that's what's going on.
What was he doing during the Civil War, the global war?
Well, see, this is where it gets kind of weird, because the Robotech timeline is kind of convoluted.
Yes.
And the Civil War was, the way I understand it, was a bunch of smaller conflicts that just had global ramifications, and they all kind of were happening simultaneously. And oddly enough, any of the sources I looked at don't specifically mention any Canadian involvement. I'm thinking that's so typical, I served in the military here in Canada, and in the 90s, we had a government that was reluctant to send us anywhere. So I kind of thought, that's very typical. We're not in it again. Hence the whole, during the Civil War, the years that he would have been in school would have been right at the height of the Civil War, like in university from 91 to 96, and then completing flight training all the way up to getting rated on the Hornet in 1997. So, 2 years later, 1999, the war is over. So I'm like, how do I get this guy in the war? Well, I'll get him on a NATO exchange and send him to somewhere else in the world. And again, Australia, it's close enough to Japan to
Okay, so
have some involvement.
did he see fighting in the global war?
I don't think he would have. To
Okay,
be honest,
good.
there is that 2-year period, but I don't think he would have seen any like real. It would have been all like patrol kind of stuff.
Okay, good. And the only reason I'm saying good is because in our storyline, the
Yeah.
way I'm going to set it up is that's why you're at this point wingman, because you
Cool.
don't have practical,
Yeah.
war.
I mean, he's flown lots of. The way that I envisioned him is he had some experience as a mercenary pilot on the Project Valkyrie thing, kind of like they did explore that in that comic series, and I can't remember who published it, but I figured that's about as close as I wanted to put him to the events of the actual Robotech timeline. I didn't want to be too close, but I didn't want to be too far away. And I thought even if he was like sitting on a runway somewhere, like, okay,
Right.
ready the alert guy, and he never goes.
Right. So he's not without combat experience.
Yeah.
He's just not with a whole lot of experience, like Roy Fokker, who came out of the global war.
Yeah.
One.
The hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The way that I had it was his Elwood's combat experience. He didn't have any combat experience prior to joining Project Valkyrie. All of his experience would have been fighting the anti-unification guys. However many times that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Sounds good. Okay. So then, you said that he is, or did you say what are his hobbies outside of piloting a Veritech?
Outside of work. So this is a guy that I envision never had a family, never got married, never had children. And his biggest escape, as a young kid was discovering music, probably in his mid-teens, much like myself, probably grew up, in a household where AM radio, and then suddenly you're switched on to this thing called the FM dial. And that's really where you start discovering your own sense of identity. And so, into music, and that led him to, take up an instrument.
Which was?
And so, drums.
Drums for him.
So total percussionist. Yeah. Played in a bunch of jam bands in high school, and then maybe kind of kept that up, throughout university when you could. And then, maybe kind of picked it up and put it down a little bit over the years, like you often do with hobbies.
Is that okay? All right. And then his disposition. How do you intend to play his disposition?
I think he's a rules guy. I think he's the type of guy that is very thoughtful towards, what are the rules, but at the same time would break a rule if the situation demanded it and he could justify it without hurting anybody else.
Okay. So that kind of falls in with his demeanor too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Is he moody? Is he jovial?
No, I think he's very much like me. He's, just a thoughtful, I've been told sometimes that I'm far too serious, and I don't realize that I'm doing it. And I think that will come through as we play, that my character will sound an awful lot and do an awful lot of things like me.
Well, no harm with that, know? All right. Anything else you want to add about Elwood Pratt?
No, not really. I mean, I've always, in saying that Elwood is much like me, I've always thought of myself as not necessarily the best leader, but as a number 2. I'll back you, make a great number 2 in the sense that, as a number 2, as a wingman, or as someone that you can rely on, I'll be the guy that's always in your ear questioning, is that the best decision? Is that the right thing to do? Is there a better way to do it? And maybe sometimes it is, and maybe sometimes it's not. But if you tell me that, nope, we're doing it my way, well, then the chain of command speaks, and okay, we're doing it your way.
Talk to me, Goose, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So one thing, when I had sent you your character sheet, I did say that you were on a VF1J, right?
You did say 1J. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. You're on a 1A.
Oh,
I know. Sorry.
What? 1A. All right. I'm ready. I've got it.
But hey, there's promotions waiting to happen. Okay.
I was going to say, because if there is a promotion in the wings,
there it is.
Who knows? Maybe someday I'll have visions of grandeur, and we'll be all the way up to
You know, I remember how Max was like, "Hey, do you think they'll promote me after my first battle?"
Listen, if it's anything like real world experience, I don't expect to get promoted for at least, years and years and years.
All right. All right. So Mage,
Yep.
what is the name of your character and how do you intend to play him?
This man is Steve Periwinkle.
Nice.
Human pilot, sergeant in the RDF for a good amount of time. This guy is a squad leader. And, you were talking about the disposition and demeanor. This guy is, I guess if you were saying like in D&D terms, like lawful neutral. And the one thing about him, brash, right? I think everybody would say that about him. And the reason being is, just like Wes was saying, like, hey, is this really the best way to approach it? And it'd be like, yes. Yes, it is. Is it because it's my way? Probably. But here's the deal. I've survived this long on the instinct and the gut that I have in my, within myself, within my gullet. So we're going to go with that.
Okay, excellent. Then his role during the global war was probably some combat experience, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Right.
I just don't want to make it sound too fantastic.
Right. However, he is a sergeant, so he's cut his teeth. He knows he's not going to freeze up,
right?
And so when they were sorting out, the best people were like, who's been in battle and who hasn't yet.
Paul, whether in front of a stage of 1,000 or 100,000 people, or in front of the Zentradi Armada, or in front of his own kin who were against him, this man is dead inside. Okay. Cool as ice. I will say that.
Okay. So he's got no care. Is he reckless?
He's not reckless. He isn't. In fact, the very fact that he has removed emotion from the equation is what allows him to be logical.
Okay. So it's more of a sense of, like what is the best strategy as opposed to anything else.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. So outside of being a Veritech jockey, what does he do?
He seeks admiration. He seeks confirmation that he is the best damn singer that's ever been.
Okay.
And that involves being in a band as the lead singer.
So he is a singer as well. Does he play any instruments?
Oh, he'll play that rhythm guitar. Now, he's not a solo guitarist. He can't do both at once. He can't do the solo guitars. He can't do the Van Halen thing, okay? But he can sit back, spin a yarn like you wouldn't believe. That would bring a tear to your eye. And back it up.
So he's not, CC, make that guitar talk to me. He's not that guy, right?
He is not. He is not.
But he's Jim Croce, right?
Yeah, he's Jim Croce, and his Maury Mulhausen is his secondary right there.
Excellent. So that's why when you guys got put together during flight school and you guys were like, oh, hey, do you do this? And do you do this?
Yeah.
And so in our story, you guys are also going to be paired up with a ground unit as well. Okay. So there's another guy in the squadron, let's say, who is with the band. Now, for the most part, you don't deal with them a whole lot because they're the Destroids and you guys are the Veritechs. But from time to time, when coordination is needed, they're like, oh yeah, that's your ground buddy right there. So you guys usually work with them. And he's part of the band as well. Okay.
Awesome.
So you guys have a pretty good band going on. Mage, you're the sergeant. Wes, you're the wingman. You guys have your Destroid associate, let's say. And so we are going to start our adventure 1 week before the launch of the SDF-1. Okay. So,
okay.
So there's no attacks going on right now. Right now, preparations are being made. Like this is going to be a normal thing. It's going to fly up to the moon. It's going to make some communications. It's going to do this and that, and then maybe it'll go around the neighborhood and see what it's capable of.
We're on the happy-go-lucky life of the Macross City.
Yo, Steve, we're going to get some stupid assignment around this freaking air show.
You know what, though? It's fine because there's going to be a Unity concert going on. And look, we're not headlining. Let's be honest here. But we're part of the rotation. You know what I mean? Luhan has said, we want you guys as part of the rotation. And damn well, we're going to show them why we should have been the headliner.
Okay. So we'll get more to it in the adventure, but you guys are a good band. Okay. Macross has been around for a while at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's turned into like a pretty big city. Now, for one thing, you guys have been told don't transform your jets just yet. It's very rare that you get to transform or practice in Guardian mode and Battleoid mode. And when you do, you're really, really, really far and pretty much in the middle of nowhere, even to Macross Island. A very few select people have been told that there's evidence of big ass aliens on this ship that we're reconstructing.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. So you guys know, but even your knowledge is kind of limited. Like you even kind of think like, okay, what? Like maybe it's not even that big a deal because there was only a few of them. It's been 10 years later. Okay. No one's showed up.
Yeah.
You know, but you're pretty like cool. Like, well, at least we get to be in.
So it's like we know, but it's hard to conceptualize.
Right. Yeah. Because you don't get to see like what Lang saw, you know, or even what Fokker saw when he went in there.
Right.
Okay. But all this stuff is bleeding out, and you're like, oh, like there's something going on, you know, and so you're just like, well, I mean, whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do it. But
I think that's super apparent for my character, who I don't even see this guy joining the Defense Forces until like 2006. So the reconstruction is so well underway that he may not even have any concept that there was a 50-foot alien, potential alien threat.
By the time it's all said and done, right?
Yeah.
You're just happy to be in a Veritech at that point, right?
Listen, I left for a formal military to be a mercenary, to come back to a formal military because I believe in doing the right thing.
And, you know, the global military structure, it's all becoming one world government. And as much as that might be kind of crazy for some people, it is leading. I mean, before that, there was global war. At least that has stopped the fighting, you know?
Yeah.
But there is that anti-unification movement, okay? And they've been quelled, but not eliminated yet.
Fair enough.
That might be an issue.
Well, we got to cut our teeth somehow.
All right. Well, we sincerely hope you join us for the adventure. Enjoy it as much as we do just playing it. And please reach out to us. Mage, where can they reach out to us at Reflex Point?
You can reach out to us on Instagram at ReflexPointPod. You can write us at reflexpointpod@gmail.com, or you can just shout loudly into your phone.
And Wes, if they want to reach out to FandomPower, how can they reach out there?
Well, I mean, you can always find us here at FandomPower. You can search FandomPower on Facebook. It is the social media for old guys like me. Otherwise, you can also search us on YouTube. You'll find all our videos there. You can find the link to our email in our social media profile.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And, you know, as we evolve, we'll give more specific information. But in the meantime, enjoy. We will play side by side with the series. We will drag it out a little bit. I don't want to just play episode for episode. Like episode 1 might be 5 sessions of us figuring something out. and then
Right.
moving on forward. Okay.
20 sessions of the long wait. I get it.
Exactly. Okay.
What was going on behind the scenes?
Let's start right now. Mage, you broke a water pipe and now the SDF-1's cooling system is about to go into overload. What do?
Oh my gosh. Well, first thing I do is take a long pull of that fresh, clean water, right? Then I take my pants off because Minmay is right next to me, and I wrap it around that and go like, oopsie, I guess my pants are gone.
Little do you realize that there's a lot of coolant fluid that's very toxic and starts to burn the skin right off your bone.
Which was the whole point, is that I start hallucinating early on in me taking a long pull of that water.
I told
the
you.
reality is I've been sitting in the fetal position in the corner for about the last 30 hours while Minmay's been draping me in a cold compress.
I told you not to eat the pineapple salad.
God damn it.
All right. So we definitely will have fun with this. And again, everybody, please just let us know. Let us know what you enjoy, any ideas, and reach out to us. Okay. Everybody stay safe.